Your words have power. Your words can carry immense power, and they can either make you or break you. In today's video, I'm here to talk to you about self-talk, your internal commentator, as I like to call it. How does your internal commentator run your game, your inner game, when you're performing, doing what you're doing? How is it speaking to you? How are you effectively speaking to yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Are you encouraging? Or are you often speaking with anger, frustration? And do you put yourself down? Because if you really knew the power of words like I do, then you would choose your words very carefully. And I suggest you take some time during this video and after this video, carefully going back through and analysing how you speak to yourself, and notice how empowering you are and how disempowering you are, and take yourself back to some of your best performances and some of your worst performances, and do this just by remembering what it was like to be there, seeing what you were seeing, hearing what you was hearing, and feeling how it felt, either when you was playing at your absolute best, and do the same for when you was underperforming. And when you step back into this movie, each of these two different movies, take note of what you're saying to yourself, how you're talking to yourself. Because this internal commentator is significantly controlling your inner game. And as I've said, it can make you or break you. And often I work with athletes who spend far too much time doubting themselves. They spend far too much time critiquing themselves. Spend far too much time getting frustrated with making a mistake. The mistakes are a part of life. The great athletes make mistakes. And the difference is, from all of my work that I've done working with athletes and researching athletes, the great athletes are very quick to take hold of that voice after an error or a mistake is made, and they turn it off and throw it away. And there are specific techniques I can teach you exactly how to do this. And you can even use this video to go away and start doing some of these things yourself outside of the neuroscience techniques that I have to offer you. And it starts with going back and stepping into your past performances. Remember a time when you felt like you performed at your best, and then remember a time when you didn't perform so well. And notice the differences between these images. And then step into these images and notice how it feels when you step into this one. What are you saying to yourself? What does it look like? Notice the tone of your voice. Notice the volume. Notice the speed and the tempo. And then do the same with this underperformance down here. And start to contrast them. And start to change one to the other. Notice the exact phrases that you're saying to yourself. Yeah, and look to change them. Because if you're speaking to yourself in a disempowering way, that means you've got some kind of neurological pattern to do so. And you need to break that pattern. You need to cut through that neurological pattern as fast as you can and create a more empowering one. So you need to create an inner courageous commentator, the one who's going to pick you up. Because at the end of the day, you're out there performing and you're on your own. There may be teammates around you, there may be coaches, but you're on your own in there doing what you're doing. You're on your own when you're training, doing those extra sessions. You're on your own when your head hits the pillow at night. How are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to yourself when the pressure is on? That illusionary pressure that I've spoken about previously. When the moment becomes intense, how are you handling it? And various different things that are going on, and one of them is your internal commentary. And that commentary, that commentator, is representing a story, and the story is a belief. So that commentator only comes on and starts talking to yourself, only pings on in your head, yeah, when something has happened which has questioned one of your beliefs, a belief about yourself. And often that belief is, I'm not good enough about something in particular, in some way. There are many other beliefs, but this is the most common, deepest belief that I found with many of the athletes that I work with. And if they make a mistake, they then think, right, I've made a mistake. That's only more evidence to put into that filing cabinet about how I'm not quite good enough, or my coach doesn't believe I'm good enough. Whatever it may be. And you need to go inside and you need to start examining these two different performances and start writing them down. Notice what phrases you're saying. Notice how you're talking to each other. Notice the tone of your voice. Notice the tempo. And then start to change it. Switch them over. A very useful technique you can use as well is think of some of the people who you're really inspired by. And this can be in sport and outside of sport. And notice how these people speak when they stand up with authority, with passion, with joy, with energy. How are they talking? How are they talking to themselves? And you can even practice talking to yourself with this tone of voice. And another simple little trick is if you ever hear yourself talking to yourself in a critical way, and you can do this after we finish this video or after you finish watching it, go and, as I said, find your critical voice, that critical commentator, and then change it. And change it to somebody ridiculous. Change it to a cartoon character like Mickey Mouse, and start speaking to yourself like Mickey Mouse. I won't embarrass myself today by actually trying to mimic that voice, but I'm sure you can figure it out for yourself, or find out how he talks to himself, or even Minnie Mouse. Go take the voice of Minnie Mouse and then try to speak to yourself in this disempowering way. Try to put yourself down. Try to say you're not good enough. Try to say I can't do this. Try to say this is killing me, or you sound like Mickey Mouse. And you'll find it very difficult to do that. Perhaps you're even remembering and noticing the sounds of his voice now, with this high-pitched, silly, squeaky voice. It's hard to take it seriously. And when your internal commentator comes on, when he or she switches on, you need to get it turned off as fast as you can. You need to take hold of it, and you need to turn it down, and you need to throw it away so you can get on with the game. Because the best do this. They don't let them make the mistakes get to them. They don't allow them to seep in. They have this barrier. They have this skill of turning it down and throwing it away. And whether this is something which they've done intuitively, or whether they've had someone like me teach it to them, they are doing it because they've not got time, and you don't have time. You don't have time to spend 5 minutes ranting at yourself, telling yourself that wasn't good enough, telling yourself that you can't do it, telling yourself whatever it is, that this is killing me, telling yourself anything disimpact. You've not got time, because the more you repeat those words, the more you're energizing the state. And the more you energize the state, the more you repeat those words, and you get locked in, and you keep saying it. And then sometimes it can come out from an internal commentator to an outburst, an external, where you start saying something. Maybe you start shouting your frustrations, your anger. Perhaps you even swear. Perhaps you take it out on a teammate. Whatever it is. You've not got time for that. All that is doing is taking your inner neurological energy that you want to be putting towards performing to your maximum, and you're wasting it. You're wasting it on negativity. And what you're also doing is further rewiring this pattern, this thought pattern, this thought loop pattern. And ultimately what you are doing there is wiring, rewiring and wiring again this belief that you have about yourself, deeper into your subconscious mind, deeper into the limbic system, into the amygdala, into the hippocampus regions of your brain. You're wiring it deeper in, and you need to break the pattern. And you can start doing it now. As soon as you get off this video, if you haven't got a journal, I encourage you to get some or something where you can write down and start challenging some of these things which could be getting in the way of your performance. But as I said, take your great performance, one that's not quite as great, and compare them, and then start breaking it down. Start challenging it. is what I'm really saying here the truth? Is it the truth? Am I always underperforming? Am I never good enough? If you're saying those ultimatums, always, never, they're very strong words, universal words which you need to break or flip them into the other category and use the words in a more positive way. And if you do start to feel like you're underperforming, take control over your language. Start to say to yourself, I'm feeling myself getting stronger. I'm feeling myself getting faster. I'm feeling myself getting more energized. I'm starting to feel more tenacious. I am feeling more tenacious. I am feeling more determined. I am feeling more tenacious. And run these words inside the neurology of your mind. And you will start breaking down that pattern. And you can start to apply this across many other patterns. But start with your best performance, your worst performance, and analyze them. Analyze the two and see what comes out of it. And then use this technique, as I said, about picking some funny, strange character, cartoon character perhaps, and then put that voice inside your head and try and tell yourself some of those stupid, ridiculous things. Because the one thing that I really want you to take away from this today is the power of your words. The power of your words have the power to shape your destiny. They have the power to shape your performance, and you want to take control over as many different factors as you can. You can't control the referee. You can't always control the performance of your teammates and your opposition, but you can control what's going on in your inner game. And I am the master at helping people get control over their inner game so they can then get on with performing the outer game, doing what they do best, doing what you love doing best, and you can perform to your highest level of excellence when you start talking to yourself in a more empowering, kind, joyful way. So please, take my advice on this one. Do these activities and give yourself the gift of going away and taking this seriously. And if you'd like any more help, you've got any further questions you'd like to ask me, by all means, either put some comments in the link below, drop me an email, you can ring me, you can check out my website. And if you're the type of athlete who's seriously trying to take your performance to the next level, then get in touch and we can organise a free 1-hour consultation and take this even further. See you soon.